My name's Brian Ferris. This will be my 58th year of cycling. I joined Hamilton Wheelers in 1963, and by the end of this year it'll be 58 years. And I have done 1,200,000 kilometres. I took up cycling at the age of 15. My dad raced with the Ipswich Club in the 1930s, and I always admired his trophies, and I used to go through his scrapbooks, and quite often I go through his photograph albums, and it was just the sport that I wanted to do. I said to Dad, I want to do bike racing. So he took me around to one of the former Australian champions in the 1920s, I guess, Les Munro, who was an Australian sprint champion. And I used to watch Les Munro Jr., Bill Hasseltine, Cole Caves, Kenny Caves, all these guys racing, and my dad, and my grandfather, and Les Munro. 1963, February, Dad took me to the National Championships held at Balmoral, and I just loved to see these top guns racing around Balmoral. And that was in January, February in 63. In March, I joined Hamilton Wheelers. I raced with them for 54 years straight. With my cycling, I found that I seemed to enjoy and go better in longer races, and that's what I basically concentrated on. Yeah, I used to get the cycling magazine, Australian Cyclists, and I used to read about all the legends down south. New South Wales and Grafton. New South Wales and Victoria seemed to be the dominant states. And I used to watch and read what they were doing and who was winning races. And I used to read about Kevin Brindle and Maury Cato and all these guys in New South Wales. And Kevin Brindle was basically the king of Grafton, the king of the Grafton Inverell. And yeah, he was well known, and I thought I've got to meet this guy. And I met Kevin and I saw him race. In 1968 I went down and raced Grafton. I was just turned 20 years of age. And then in 1974, I was lucky enough to win it. When I won the race, I had no idea. I just won another race. I came home. It didn't mean a lot to me. I was pleased to have won that race, but I didn't realise the history of it and what was behind. Frank Lynham, who was the secretary of our club, sent the telegraph around to my home, and they took photos, etc. And I couldn't understand what all the fuss was about until many years later. Then I did realise that what I'd done was fairly important. And when I look back on it these days, yeah, I feel really honoured to be one of the riders that have won it. As most people know, I think it was the 50th running of Grafton. Grafton and Inverell, in the main street in Inverell, they did a plaque of every winner, the winner of every year. And you know, it's just something I just felt honoured. But these days, I look at it now, I've got every bugger in Inverell walking all over me. It's all part of cycling history, and I just love the sport, and there's nothing better to come in here and just see all these beautiful posters. A lot of them are back from the 70s, which I scored while I was overseas. Of course, there's Eddie over here. It's a Hoffy road bike made in the 70s, around about 76. And that's my track bike from the track days. It's in the heart. I love it. I don't get bored doing it. I don't need motivation. I just enjoy. I love the sport. There's no other sport that can compare to cycling. When I look back now, because I'm 73 years of age, I was born in 1947. I won Grafton in 1974, and I'll be 74 next year. So next year I'm going to have a big celebration. All my stars cross. I'll go for a big ride. I'll do 74K. And I only did 135 the other day.